What's up, Royalty fam? How are y'all doing? Today, I will be showing you guys a social studies project on the Russia-Ukraine war. And well, we are going to present it. And well, I'm thinking that after LEAP, because this week, which is the day that you are seeing this, I've already done some tests of the LEAP, which will determine a part of if it will pass the grade or not. So just so I could get, as much of the questions correct and pass it, I will study today before we go to sleep and tomorrow too before we go to sleep. This is how I will present it to my class on, I believe, the 23rd. Now, right here, as you can see, I have put my name, because obviously it's for a school project. So, I'm gonna put Russia, in the blue, even though, even though I could put Ukraine, because, it too has blue, as you can see. And I put it in the red, Ukraine war. Well, I've been, a little bit creative, at least in my opinion. And, I want to put, this Ukraine flag, like right here, kind of like the United States. Not exactly, but very similarly, because it's not, feel right or look right if I put the Russia flag of 3 colors in a small. Okay, so why did Russia invade Ukraine? The invasion started on February 24. Putin wants the same Orthodox Christian denomination that is in Russia, also in Ukraine. Russia also wants Crimea. Putin's #1 target is the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky himself said, "The enemy has designated me as target #1. My family is target #2. Putin calls it a special military operation and refuses to call it a war. As a result of this unprovoked war, Russia has been accused of war crimes. Control over the south of Ukraine is another way to Transnistria, referring to a way to get to Moldova, where Russia has some 1,500 troops." Ukrainian allies. Ukraine's allies are Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, the United Kingdom, the United States, Japan, South Korea, and Australia. The United States and the United Kingdom have contributed the most to help Ukraine. And on the background is a Ukrainian flag. And here you can see the Ukrainian Volodymyr Zelensky, a picture of him. I put here a picture of some flags that you may not know, like Luxembourg, Belgium, Denmark, Iceland, and Norway. Russian allies. Russian allies are some of the countries that were in the Soviet Union, which are Belarus, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Cuba, North Korea, and China. None of the countries have helped Russia with military things compared to Ukraine, which the US and the UK have greatly helped Ukraine. And here you can see it says Russian President Vladimir Putin, which is a picture of him. And if you know the flags of some other countries, and here are which are Kyrgyzstan, Belarus, Armenia, and Kazakhstan. The internet may be spreading propaganda about the war. Russian soldiers have been sending missiles striking Kyiv when they first started the special military operation. So that the world will know the truth, the Russian government has taken extraordinary steps by threatening Facebook and threatening to shut down independent media outlets such as TV Rain, which is in Russia. The restrictions are an opportunity on how Russia wants to control how the world sees the war of its invasion of Ukraine to its own citizens and the world by potentially cutting off access to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter is what the Russian government is willing to do. How the US and Ukraine is bursting Putin's propaganda bubble. As Russia presents a clean version of the war, Ukrainian activists have been sending messages highlighting government corruption and unsuccessful of controlling Ukraine. Putin is doing all he can to keep Russians as the evil person of Europe, with deaths going largely unreported in the Russian news media. There are about 20,000 Russian soldiers killed, and Russian news are not telling the people that they don't seem to the world as weak. Radio Free Europe / Radio Liberty, the main private independent news organization in the region of the US government financing, and sharing facts on the war from reporters on the front lines in Ukraine and working quietly in Russia. The truth about the war. Drones in Ukraine are exposing the truth about what's happening in Ukraine. Satellite images of murdered civilians match videos, recorded weeks later, of bodies at the roadside are providing clear evidence of Russia's war crimes, convincing Western leaders to continue sanctions on Russia and accelerating weapon supplies for Ukraine. Failure to fulfill his first major objective, which was the capture of Kyiv, forces troops to surrender, leaving the truth for everyone to see. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he wants more cameras and more access to let the public see the truth for themselves. And here, as you can see, is a picture of Russian troops in Kyiv. Could this be the start of World War III? It is unlikely because Russia's military capabilities are poor compared to those of Western armies. Russia's forces are not sufficiently trained. Even though their weapons are dated and inferior, they experience major planning. Operational and military war weapons difficulties. Their soldiers have low confidence because some of Russian soldiers do not want to invade, but they are forced to. Damaging economic sanctions also mean that Russia may not be able to afford a wider war. It is possible that even if the Russian military continues to struggle, Russian President Vladimir Putin will use chemical or even nuclear weapons to increase gains and discourage or stop the West from interfering and providing Ukraine with weapons. But that is unlikely. Two ways the war may end. Scenario 1. Prices to pay for Russia and Ukraine wins. Soon, it becomes obvious that Russia will pay a price for taking risks, including the possibility of a long and costly economic collapse. Ukraine remains as a sovereign democracy, while Moscow's defeat accelerates discontent that has already begun emerging across Russia. NATO is faced with an improved security situation as Russia is punished and Ukraine grows closer than ever to the West. Scenario 2. A NATO-Russia war. Even though this is unlikely to happen, it is the most dangerous scenario for the future of Europe and the world, is one in which the Ukraine war is the scene for a direct military conflict between NATO and Russia. NATO is a North-Atlantic Treaty Organization which guarantees freedom and security to the countries that join it. If a NATO country is attacked, everyone in a group will have to send military to the NATO country that is being attacked. Russia will be forced to decide whether to surrender or to directly engage with military forces. If Russia chooses to engage, the risk of an escalating armed conflict will increase greatly. Russia could accidentally strike a NATO country's territory, for example, through non-accurate targeting. Russia has already attacked targets close to the Polish border. As the Russian military stock of precision and guided munitions started to shrink, the risk of Russian exit leading to an escalation. The scenario would see the beginnings of direct conflict, perhaps air to air or air to ground. Putin's impossible demands. Putin says that he wants to have victory over before May 9th, because in Russia, May 9th is Victory Day, which it achieved the defeat of the Nazis in 1845. Had become obsessed with paranoid ideas. Putin asked his troops to take Kyiv, which is the birthplace of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Putin, to scare the West, is keeping a threat of a nuclear attack. We have tools that no one can throw at us, Putin said in a statement. It's considered that this threat is real. A special doomsday plane has appeared on the skies of Moscow, the capital of Russia. The plane was last seen in 2010. The appearance of the plane is considered as a warning sent by Putin to Western countries. However, Russian military officials announced that the aircraft was practicing for the parade on May 9th. And here, as you can see, are pictures of the war. So this one is of Ukrainian soldiers in a bunker with a Ukraine flag, and this other one is of the president of Ukraine in a military suit with other soldiers. Putin could claim a major victory. Russian forces attempt to destroy the resistance at Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol, which would let President Vladimir V. Putin claim a major victory before Moscow's military celebration on Monday. Germany's president called Zelensky, hoping to end the war between the two countries. Ukrainian forces appear to have made gains in Kyiv of recent days, beginning some strategic territory in a group of towns around Ukraine's second most populated city, an advance that could make Moscow's attack in the eastern Donbas region to make difficulties for Putin. In this picture, as you can see, is a funeral of a dead Ukrainian soldier on Thursday, May 5th. Russia's Victory Day. Kinsman made that Russia could declare a war. He calls it at the moment a special military operation on Ukraine on May 9th because it is Victory Day. Putin could use May 9th to falsely declare victory. But not everyone is convinced Putin will go this route, because it will contradict Russia's propaganda on the war up to this point that's been shown to Russians. Sending more troops will signal to Russians that the war isn't going well, compared to Russian officials' repeated statements the war is going according to plan. The Russian forces are too exhausted to try to bomb Donbas. Their equipment is in a rough shape. And right here, you can see I told 2022 Victory Day Parade on May 9th. Russians are not winning the war. On May the 2nd, the people of Mariupol were evacuating. Russian forces started destroying the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol just after international negotiators left with the evacuees. Residents who left in recent days said that they have survived the 2 months surrounding Mariupol by surviving on Russian prepared food cooked in open on wood fires, amidst of the daily covering of the left bodies in the breeze. It is a problem for the West that Putin has no exit strategy of failing to divide NATO and the EU, which is the European Union, on May 9th. Putin has not declared victory of Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky has also celebrated on May 9th Victory Day and promised a victory to Ukraine. And this picture, as you can see, is the people of Mariupol evacuating. When could the war end? The war may end by year end, or in the final months of the year. Russia may take action if NATO moves nuclear forces near its borders. Russian forces move away from Kyiv, which is Ukraine's second largest city. Kyiv is going to have a curfew on May 14th from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. The region had a curfew in the early days of the war. A curfew is when you have to stay indoors. Ukraine's time zone is 8 hours ahead of us. The Finnish President Sauli Niinisto is considering applying for NATO membership because of the war. Sweden is also considering to join NATO. In a future video, I will change this because I just wanted to show you guys this, but then I will have to put text for this because you know I have to do that for every single slide. And if you want to see that, then give this video to 5 likes. I hope you have liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. One last thing that I would like to say, stay royalty, we out. Peace.